theater movies. Sicario, I never saw it. You did.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff that you haven't.
But I've seen a
But
lot of stuff that you haven't.
yeah, which is problematic for a podcast.
But I think it's okay
It's like,
because we're
do you
not
remember that? Do you
we're
remember
not
that thing?
handcuffed to that radiator.
Do you remember that thing that you didn't see?
Yeah, I do.
Do you
I do
remember
remember
that?
it. Yeah.
Okay,
I
because
remember
I
what I was
saw it,
feeling too when I didn't see it.
but you didn't. Yeah, I saw Sicario. I saw all of those like limited engagement movies that
Hmm.
are very me. I wasn't forced to go see like what's a movie we would have done over the summer that
The Martian.
I saw The Martian though.
So did I.
Let's think different. What else? What else would I have done against my will?
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, exactly, which I also saw. See, I'm not. This is not working out. Um, I think I
I
still saw like all the big blockbusters. That's kind of scary.
I missed most of them because I'm in BFE. So
You are in BFE. They don't even have theaters out there.
no, but they have great internet.
They have fantastic internet, and I would imagine if you can kind of get lost, pretty good barbecue.
Oh yeah, I can go down the street and get amazing barbecue.
See, that there are advantages to Texas. There's
Yeah.
not many. There's not like a huge swath of benefits, but there is really good barbecue. If you are a carnivore,
Oh yeah.
you should visit Texas. Get the meat sweats,
Hmm.
you know? Get
That point where you're eating, where you're having to breathe through your nose at the same time, you're just like, that's
yeah,
that point. You want to
where you
get
kind of
there.
where you kind of feel like you've run out of breath
Yeah.
because you've just and need a nap. That's the other side of it, right?
Or if you doze off while eating, it's success right there. That's good barbecue.
Exactly. Um, you know what? You know what we would have done that I didn't have to do? I got it now. I got one of them at least.
What's that?
We probably would have saw Poltergeist.
Oh man, I'm so glad I missed that.
Yeah. So we dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
So kudos to us. Um, I know nothing about it. We probably would have saw Ted 2, I would imagine.
Ugh, would we have put
Maybe
ourselves through that?
we might have, but you know what we definitely would have done is Terminator Genesis. We would have seen that.
God, I'm so
Just
glad we dodged that bullet.
so there's a handful of stuff that we are better off not having seen. Um,
Talk about a trailer that gave it all away.
there, that's how Hollywood works.
Yeah,
But
but not for Star Wars, because Star Wars is doing it right, and you were going amazeballs on it earlier.
I am. Well, I think anyone that has any sort of like media literacy these days, um, every trailer it feels like they give you either most of the set pieces, like for
Hmm.
action movies at least, like they give you most of the set pieces, if not the whole entire plot arc, just in the 2.5 minute trailer. And Star Wars has done such a good job of not doing that. And you know what I realized is the reason why they haven't done that? Do you know what's missing from those trailers?
Plot,
No. Well, I mean, there might be plot, but you don't know. Do you know why you don't know?
dialogue,
There's no dialogue. Exactly. There's no context outside of Han saying Chewie we're home
or
and
everything was true.
everything was true, right? So you get just these snippets, like no one's having a conversation. More
Right.
importantly, you only have like a vague idea as to who he's talking to, and you still don't know why he's talking to them,
Yeah,
right?
it's great. It's all seriously thought out. How can we put this out without ruining anything about the movie?
It's
And
very it's very tightly controlled.
most movies nowadays that they just send all their shit to a trailer company and they're like, yeah, make us a trailer, whatever, who cares?
Okay, before we get off of summer blockbusters,
Hmm.
which I think is probably the biggest reason why we stopped doing the old show, was I don't
Oh,
think we didn't want to slog through summer blockbusters.
well, another one we would have seen is Black Mass that
Oh,
I did see,
yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
So I think though I know we have this movie in common, and I know it was really good, or at least we both really liked it. And I think this kind of goes back to when we saw Edge of Tomorrow.
Hmm.
Why is Tom Cruise so fucking good at his job?
Oh, MI5. Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit, that was fucking great.
Right?
I
Right?
saw that as well. Yeah.
Like Rogue Nation is really good.
The first two acts are some of the best action that I've seen in a long time,
It's
plus story on top of it.
it's really good. Like I like so Jim and I saw it,
Hmm.
and he and I were like, that was really good.
Yeah.
Like, and more importantly, it's like Tom Cruise still does Tom Cruisey things in that movie. You know,
Yeah,
you
all
get
of his crazy stunts and
the smirk,
yeah.
like the he does that like head tilt thing,
Yeah.
like he does all that stuff. That's like that's not Ethan, that's Tom, right? At that point in time, I feel like he's breaking the fourth wall, but
Well, especially anytime he gets
it's
on a motorcycle.
I know, but it's so good.
No,
Why
that motorcycle stunt was pretty damn awesome.
why is it so good?
And he took that fall.
Of course he did.
That was fucking great.
Of course he does. Like he's fucking crazy, man. But he's so like I think it's to the point now where I think I've finally understood between kind of the breadth of Tom Cruise work
Hmm.
and Mission Impossible and Rogue Nation in particular. He it doesn't matter what he's doing, whether it's like playing Les Grossman or being in Eyes Wide Shut, like which I think those are like the opposite ends of the spectrum as much
Yeah,
as you can get, I would think. Um, he gives it all
absolutely.
it's he just pours himself out, and I think that's is weird as it sounds, is what's really great about Tom Cruise. That's what makes it enjoyable. Is
Yeah,
this dude would bleed for you, you
and
know?
it's like with Interview with the Vampire, to go back to that. Uh everyone on set around him, they were like, we're exhausted at the end of every take because his energy was just so over the top and everybody was trying to match it.
Yeah. I
And
mean, just
he
ask
led
Oprah's
without
couch.
leading, really. Like they were like, oh shit, we don't want him to, but it wasn't overacting. It was just like trying to amp up that energy and catch up to him. Like, man,
Correct.
I'm fucking tired. And
He
he's
I
just like
mean,
ready to go. He's like, all right.
what I was going to tell you is, you want to talk about his energy, just ask Oprah's couch.
Yeah.
Like the
That,
world knows
that poor
Tom
couch.
Cruise is whatever he's on, I want some. Um, but yeah, I
You can
just
still hear that, right?
what was that?
Could you still hear that?
Oh, absolutely.
God damn.
Yeah,
All right.
that thing's
Sorry.
loud. Just
Sorry.
as a heads up. But outside of the scope of summer, which I'm very glad. Oh, P.S. real fast.
Yeah.
Why does summer now start at the end of March and then end in like September
Yeah, there's a weird shift going on,
or October?
and it's also the same with movies that are going for Oscar contention can now be released in January.
Yeah, and now they've like and it's all jammed into the last like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Impossible.
so everything that we said about in Roundtable Movie Talk about January being the worst, I think February is going to be the worst.
February is the new worst, but don't worry about it because in March summer starts.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you're still in a parka, and it's like, oh, Avengers movie.
Summer movie. Well, I think, the huge thing that's kind of changed is the if you look at like the rates in which people go to the theater,
Hmm.
um, the seasons don't really matter anymore.
No.
You know, the thing that used to drive summer movies is there's kids, they're not in school, you know. Um, People take vacations. It's just easier to get out and be mobile. Um, but these days, people just don't care. Like if you have a good enough product, they'll go see it. Um,
Well,
they
there's
really worry about
I think that's
profits.
because there's less people that are living the 9 to 5 drive to work. There's more people that work from home now than when they started making all these movie summer winter regulations in the 90s.
For
Well,
sure.
now that's like, oh yeah, our entire family works from home. We can go wherever, whenever.
And I think our generation in particular, like if you can make it an event,
Hmm.
like if it's a big deal, like we'll go see it.
Right.
So that's a huge part of it, where it's like, oh, I really feel like I need to be there, and then talk about it. And by the way, this is a grade A segue in case you
Hmm.
didn't see it coming. And that's the same thing that works for TV.
Absolutely. TV
Uh,
has really stepped up its game. Even in all the parts that it's faltering, there's so much shining through all that rubble.
right? Yeah, it's like the shows that truly work, or at least the ones that work the best, are the ones you can talk about, or the ones that are being talked about.
Yeah.
So I think kind
Like
of
the
like
100. The 100, all of a sudden out of nowhere, is kind of a mid range quality show. Like it's getting just talked about everywhere. Everybody's like the 100, the 100, the 100. And I haven't seen it, but I just know it because people are talking about it. So that's something that I have to go see now to see what they're talking about.
that's the CW, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what that's on, right? That's dirty network TV.
it is,
Dirty
but
dirty network
it
television.
is one of those TV shows that's getting a lot of buzz. And it ties into exactly what you were talking about, where it's like, oh, well, it's kind of an event happening. So
Hmm.
let's
Hmm.
let's all herd this way and see what they're talking about. And at least
Uh,
give it, 3 episodes if see if you want to
if
like
you
it or not.
if you must, if you need your daily dose of young adult dystopia,
Yeah,
so if Insurgents and the Hunger Games aren't enough for you, don't worry, the
there's the
100 is
100.
there.
Yeah.
Or what was the one you really liked? Maze Runner?
I didn't really like it. I just liked it better than I thought I would.
Okay, okay. So
I
so
haven't seen
yeah,
Scorch Trials yet. I don't know if I'm going to give a shit about it.
it's always well, I mean, but that's like it's so prevalent these days. So why wouldn't you put it on TV?
Yeah.
But the shows I was actually thinking of is most of what Netflix does,
Hmm.
right? They dump it all at once. You binge watch, and there's that palpable anticipation of waiting for your circle of people to finish, right? If you're the
Yeah.
first one, if you're like us and you're kind of deranged, um, and finish it before everybody else, you
Yeah.
know, you're like,
I,
why didn't
I
you
I
just finish
usually do
sit?
it in one
Why
sitting.
didn't you
I did
finish
that with
sit?
Daredevil.
But I think there's been certain buzz shows, like Mr. Robot, for
Oh
instance.
man,
Um,
I'm so glad you brought that up.
yeah, where uh, people that see it become evangelists for it,
Hmm.
or um, I think you know HBO used to have the nose room. HBO had the newsroom. There we go. As kind of the show that people hate watched, right?
Hmm.
And then they just went around and they're like, man, we need a show people hate watch, but that's okay. True Detective season 2 is a
I
thing.
haven't seen it yet.
It's okay because I think even though and this kind of harkens back to our conversation about episode 1 in Star Wars, where you leave it, the first time you saw it and you tried to convince yourself it was good.
Right.
You look at your friends, you're like, that was good, right? That was, and then you're like, yeah, that lightsaber scene at the end, yeah, that was really good. But
Yeah.
you don't talk about anything else.
You try to
Um,
find the silver lining.
exactly. And with True Detective season 2, I was like, those opening titles, those opening credits, right? Those were really great. Those were so good. You're like, Rachel McAdams, right? Yeah. And you're like, cool. Colin Farrell's mustache, also really good. Like,
So far nothing about the story or performances.
give his mustache a golden globe. Dude, there is a scene in True Detective. I want to say it's obviously season 2. I think it's episode 6,
Hmm.
where they grab these contracts, right? And Taylor Kitsch's character is talking, and I think Colin Farrell's like, "Whoa, what do you have?" He's like, "Contracts." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "There's signatures all over them." And it's like, well, what else would be on the contracts? Like,
Wow, just
what do you
drawings
say?
of dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, there's a kid's coloring book all over these. Like, what else are you gonna say? Like, they're contracts. Like, yeah, and that was kind of the show. It was like it was like giant detours and was kind of confusing, and they had a lot of signatures. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, but people still talk about it, right? And you talked about it because it was this giant event, you know? Um, and HBO's great at that. And
Huh.
so is Netflix. And I feel like everyone else is kind of scrambling, especially AMC now. that they don't have Mad Men or Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but they do have
Um,
Preacher coming out.
they do have Preacher,
I
and if
still
you
haven't
haven't
seen